An August 14th trial date, speaking of a trial for former President Donald Trump's classified documents case set today by Judge Aileen Cannon. That's just 2 weeks before the first RNC debate, 5 months ahead of the Iowa caucuses. That trial date, I think you could reasonably expected to be pushed back because, if nothing else, Scott, than the classified documents issue?
Yeah,
we're not going to have a trial this summer.
The defense lawyers have to get clearances as well to even look at the documents.
And they're going to be delaying this as long as
they probably are. Although strategically, I would tell you, I think the Trump team is considering, do we want a fast trial or not? Because if they feel strongly about it, they can get it behind them and then get back to running for office.
Do you think they feel strongly?
I don't know. If I were them, I would not feel strongly.
Well, look, and I think reasonable people can agree that Donald Trump was sometimes his very best advocate on the stump and in politics, and his best spokesperson. We saw that during both his campaign and then his presidency. May not be his best advocate when it comes to criminal issues, which is perhaps on display yesterday in this interview with Bret Baier. Take a listen.
Why not just hand them over then?
Because I had boxes. I want to go through the boxes and get all my personal things out. I don't want to hand that over to NARA yet. And I was very busy, as you've sort of seen. These boxes were interspersed with all sorts of things. Golf shirts, clothing, pants, shoes. There were many things. I would say much more, not that I know of, but everything was declassified.
All right, Ashley, how many different defenses will former President Trump give before we get into court?
Well, I think if you put the conversation in context, and I don't want to speak for President Trump, but what he was saying was, I wanted to go through, collect my personal belongings before I gave anything back. I want to actually talk about the jury point that you made about, and we talked about just a minute ago, and that's going to be really important with this trial specifically. Right now, I think because of how the media has talked about these cases and due to the livelihood of the discussions that we just had, a Harvard-Harris poll said that 55% of Americans believe that this was a politically motivated trial, and that when you have the majority of Americans, 85% of Republicans, 55% of independents believe that this is a political exercise. If this goes to a jury, this is going to be very, very difficult because it looks like it's a case by Democrats for Democrats. So when you have such an overwhelming amount of people who feel like this is such a political exercise, I think it's going to be very, very difficult in Miami, in a place where there's a growing conservative population, where you have people who have escaped the communist regime, who don't want to see this type of political involvement in their election cycle. This is going to be a big problem, I think, for the prosecutors in this case.
A big problem for whom? Oh, the prosecutors. Well, let me tell you, it doesn't work that way. Political beliefs, we all have them, but the juries have to swear out and take an oath. And then they've got to decide whether they can be independently and fair-minded, and they have to get picked for the jury. And I've sat on 3 juries, and jurors, no matter what their political beliefs are, they try to do the right thing. They work very hard at it. If they can't come up, if he can't hold one, then he gets a trial, a hung jury, or he gets convicted, or he gets not guilty. And that's just simply how it works. The politics, the political rhetoric on this, we can talk about it to ad nauseum. But once you get in the courtroom and the criminal justice system works, the politics, at least on its face, doesn't matter.
Okay, that's all well and good. It's hard to know, though, because, if for no other reason, we've never had this happen. We've never had a U.S. presidential candidate, much less a former president, in a criminal trial or in a criminal proceeding while they're running for president. Real Clear Politics average, real quick, and then we'll move on. Trump's still at 53%. DeSantis 20, Pence 5, Haley, and Tim Scott. Bob, to you, how long do we sort of entertain the idea that this is going to be the time that some big thing brings down Trump before we look at the polling and go, nope, it's just like every other time?
No, and we could see a redo of prior headlines, and that's Trump acquitted. I mean, that very well is a possibility. And look, the shot you showed, the segment with Bret Baier, I thought that was his weakest argument. But other than that part, what struck me is that Trump is going to be tough to beat. He was tough in the CNN interview. He was tough in the interview with Bret Baier. This is someone who's got, as you said, a commanding lead in the primary, and now he's beating Biden. So don't count him out.
All right, you got the last word. On to this now. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.